to show you a video how to use the FijiCrete. Actually, let's turn off the fan. There we go. So I have a bottom of a drinking bottle to use it for the mixing. You could use anything like that, or maybe a measuring cup or a smaller measuring cup than this one here would be best. I have some FijiCrete here. I have 8 ounces, so half a bag. And an empty glass. Let's fill up some water. Then I have a teaspoon, just a kitchen teaspoon. Let's get some water going in here. So I have half a cup of water, and that's plenty, more than enough. So I'm going to show you how fast the FijiCrete will be set. So I'll take 1.5 teaspoons, okay, and then we'll put about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of water in here. And as you can see it, we'll mix it up. And really you want a putty consistency in here is your best bet, because it sets very fast. As you can see here, okay, and then you could take it. This one is a little drier than I like it, but it could be a little bit more wet to just dampen it a little bit. And there you go. You could mold it to any shape you want and put it on there. So I'm going to leave it as a little long shape here, and we'll see how hard it starts to set. So I always like to give my spoon a quick rinse, so that way it's not getting compacted with FijiCrete. And give my cup a quick rinse. Okay, wipe my table. As you can see, I have the first FijiCrete sitting on the side here. We're going to see how hard it gets. I'm going to go grab a couple of rock from my tank, or from my frag tank. Okay, we have 2 pieces of rock here. I grabbed a branch, and I got a pucani that's full of sponges and all kinds of living stuff. And it's crawling in my hand. I think maybe we'll set that one this way. And maybe with all the starfish on it, I'd like to set this one sits right in here and not home. And if you want to do later on, if you want to add more to it or more cave look to it, I suggest once you put the FijiCrete on here, let it set properly, then you could add more to it. You could let it set on your tabletop, or you could let it set in your tank, in your aquarium. That shouldn't make any difference at all. If anything, the chloride in the water, in the salt water, will speed up the process of curing on the FijiCrete itself. So now that I know where I'm going to actually FijiCrete between these 2 rocks here, now I could go ahead and make my mix. Again, I'll grab my drinking bottle end, and I'll do 2, 3 heaping teaspoons. And let's see, on the water we'll add 1, 2, 3 teaspoons in here. And let's mix that up, and you can see here being mixed. It's a little wet, and I like it to be a little bit more set than this, so we'll add a little more FijiCrete. And then you can see how fast it starts to set together here. So we'll take that amount and we'll place half of it at the edge here, okay, and then I'll bring this one here, and that's how I was putting it this way, I think. And then once we set it like this, then I leave it be. Then I'll grab the other bit, and that's a little too much. We could always put half of it If anything, press it down. And when you press down, don't press down and pull back. Always press down and kind of swipe your finger, so that way nothing gets pulled back with your finger. And once you do that, you could always grab some, to start with at least, anyways, you could grab some sand from just a little handful of dry sand that goes into your tank. Grab it and then just kind of sprinkle it on the wet spot here, so that way it doesn't look different color until your coral line and everything starts to grow on it. And with the rest of it here, I could actually simply just place it on here and let this set for 5 minutes or for a couple of minutes before I put it in my tank, or I could take it right now and put it in my tank, depending how sturdy it is together to be able to grab it. Try not to shift it, the top part compared to the bottom side, because if you have a hairline crack in there, then your FijiCrete is obsolete, because within a few hours or the day after, it's just simply the top part is going to fall off as if you never used any FijiCrete whatsoever, because FijiCrete works best when it's let it set and let it just sit by itself. So now I'm going to wash the spoon. Wash my cup. Okay. And maybe we could add another piece on here. Grab a piece of rock. So we have another piece of rock that's been sitting longer in my tank, and you can see all the different coralline growth under the dark lighting, lots of pods, and like lots of different growth on there, and it's crawling all over my fingers. So maybe I like this one here to be sitting that way on here. Like I said, I wouldn't try to put it up here yet. Let this one settle good. Then I'll come in the second day, take it out of the tank, and then do that piece here. And if I want to go ahead and keep on going, I like to do it every few hours or the second day. It's always best to take your time rather to do it all at the same shot. If you're trying to do it underwater, it's very possible, but I would turn off all the power heads in the tank, let the water settle, and then go ahead, do the design in the tank and put the FijiCrete the same way, and then let it set and don't play with it. It will not harm whatsoever your tank inhabitants, or your tank parameters shouldn't be touched, or it will not affect it whatsoever. So maybe that one here, we'll try to put it over top. And if anything, I'd like to put the FijiCrete to cover between these two rocks here. Okay, don't fall. Try not to let it fall like this. Maybe we'll put that one up here. Okay, so let's make another ball of FijiCrete. Again, I'd like to use maybe 2 tablespoons, and as you can see, I'm using the amount of FijiCrete that I need for every spot. Otherwise, it's gonna harden on you, and it's as good as garbage at that point. So the first time 3 spoons. So let's do 2 spoons here. Okay, I better move this out of my hand way here. Stay there. And let's mix it. Okay, as you can see, the consistency, so it's nice and putty-like. So try to grab everything out of your cup. Don't let it go to waste. Take it all out. I would put some at the beginning here, because the first batch that we just made, it's already set and it's hardened. So really, I like to make another part that is a little bit wet. To put that rock here, and then we put the rock here, if it stays that way. There we go. Stay there. Okay, it's staying there. And I'll take the rest of it. As you can see, it's already starting to form the shape. And keep your hands dry, because if your hands are very wet, FijiCrete tends to stick on it. But just like you see here, it's a nice putty mold, and then I'll put it, let me show it to you here. Okay, so I'm going to put it right between these two rocks here, and then press it in. And it's always best if your rock always has to be wet. If you're working with the rock that's still dry, the chloride and the calcium or in the rock itself will totally make a seam that is open between your FijiCrete and your rock, and then will not adhere properly. So the best way to have it adhere, have your rock wet coming out of your tank, or just wet it, take it out, and then work on it. So we'll let that one here set. We'll come back to it. Oh, baby starfish. Put them back. Okay, so let's go back on the first ball of FijiCrete that we did. As you can see, it's hard. Okay, it's already set, so you can't work with it. And I think the video has been already at just over 5 minutes, at 11 minutes I think by now, and that's already 10 minutes past. So really, it's hard. You can't even break it or anything. So you know now we got only 3 minutes, 4 minutes to work with the FijiCrete before it starts to set and harden. This one here is a little bit more wet, so I like it to set. If anything, I could take the whole thing. I just don't want any of my living stuff to die. I'll take it and put it right into the tank. And let it sit there with the corals and the fish. Another starfish. Another starfish. Let's put them back in there. And at that point, the job is done, at least for what I need to work on. The spoon is nice and somewhat clean. Bring it back, and that spoon I leave it here. The cup I don't need anymore. Chuck it. The water is not needed. And you can see I only used 4 teaspoons of FijiCrete, and that's using quite a bit of FijiCrete compared to what I would normally use on a simple job like that of attaching a couple of rocks together. But it's always better be safe than sorry if you're adding more weight to the end of it. And this one here is as good as, it's hardened like a rock, so really you could put it in your sump, or you could put it in the garbage. In my case, right in the garbage.